Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 games with insane graphics that bomb. For this list, we'll be looking at video games that prove looks aren't everything, becoming financially and critical failures. However, we won't be including games like Assassin's Creed Unity, which got a lot of flack for technical issues, but still sold extremely well. Which game's stunning visuals tricked you into a bad experience? Share your pain and agony in the comments down below.
Hey Mojoholics! For a chance to win cash prizes, play our live daily trivia challenges every day at 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern only at WatchMojo.com/play.
Number 10, Forspoken. Square Enix is known for producing games with gorgeous visuals. Even still, not all of them can grab a player's attention. Forspoken follows a New York City citizen after she's transported to a fantasy world, where she learns magic and travels with a Sentinel Bango. Before the game released, its trailers became the internet's punching bag due to some laughably bad dialogue. Upon launch, an empty world and shallow combat was also criticized. This led to a massive drop in players on Steam and what Square Enix would refer to as lackluster sales. That's not exactly specific, but considering the developer, Luminous Productions, was folded back into the publisher at just 5 years old, the numbers couldn't have been good.
No shit, Sherlock.
You need to know who he is.
Number 9, Lair. For the time it was released, Lair had some of the best visuals available on PlayStation 3. Plus, a game centered on dragon-back combat sounds like a great idea to this day. But if there's anything Lair has taught us, it's that gameplay should always be the biggest focus during development. The game was actually praised for multiple aspects, not just its visuals and art direction. However, it forced players to use awkward motion controls without any alternative. While critics spoke with their words, consumers spoke with their wallets, and Lair was both a critical and commercial flop. It was developers Factor 5's last game before its closure in 2009. And while that was for several reasons, this probably didn't help. Number 8, Agony. Leading up to the release of Agony, it looked like any horror fan's dream game. Set in hell, you play as someone trying to escape using an ability to possess others, including some demons. Its visuals were extreme and unsettling, meaning they succeeded in what developer Madmind Studio wanted. It's just a shame everything else didn't live up to that standard. Despite the interesting premise, it was actually quite dull to play, and many found its over-reliance on stealth unsatisfying. By the end of 2020, the game had sold around 300,000 copies, which would have been a huge bomb had it not come from a smaller studio. Still, many of those buyers likely picked it up for the graphics, only to be disappointed. The agony. Number 7, Battlefield 2042. EA has the resources to make any game it produces look fantastic. If only it had used those resources to make sure Battle 2042 was actually fun to play. As soon as players got their hands on it, they found a bevy of bugs and minimal features, which it's usually the opposite of what you want. A flood of negative reviews followed, as did video proof of the rampant technical issue. The publisher blamed the performance on COVID-19 forcing employees to work from home. Since launch, EA and developer DICE have been making changes and fixes. But an entry from a series as big as Battlefield should have been far more polished to begin with. Needless to say, it did not meet EA's sales expectations.
Our forces have taken Charlie 2.
Number 6, Left Alive. Since it was the first front mission game released in 9 years, fans were pretty hyped for Square Enix's Left Alive. Considering Metal Gear Solid artist Yoji Shinkawa and Kingdom Hearts co-creator Shinji Hashimoto also worked on it, there were a few reasons to be excited. As we've come to expect from the publisher, the game's music and graphics were wonderful. Unfortunately, a lot of bugs made it hard to enjoy those graphics.
Here's machine gun.
As did poor controls and unbalanced enemy AI. Left Alive was, for lack of a better word, broken. This led to significant price cuts in Japan shortly after launch, just so Square Enix could unload its abundance of stock.
How should I know? What the hell is going on?
Number 5, Marvel's Avengers. Although some found it jarring that characters didn't resemble their MCU counterparts, no one can say Marvel's Avengers looked bad. Everything else, though, is a different story. A multiplayer campaign focusing on the team should have been a home run, but with live service elements shoehorned in through a terrible interface, things were crowded. The same couldn't be said about gameplay and mission structure, which quickly grew repetitive. It was just a slog to play, whether you were with friends or not. Players bought in initially due to the IP, but it was overall a critical and commercial disappointment. In January 2023, Crystal Dynamics announced it would be delisted from digital stores and that servers would shut down in September of that year. Number 4, Ryse, Son of Rome. Crytek is perhaps known for developing the graphically advanced Crysis series. Its games clearly look incredible, though not all gain the same level of recognition. 2013's Ryse, Son of Rome puts you in the shoes of a centurion who rises to be a general. Unfortunately, it was a launch title for the Xbox One, which famously made a bad first impression with players. However, that wasn't the only aspect that hurt it. While Ryse looked amazing, simple gameplay got repetitive, leading to mediocre reviews and worse sales. Crytek originally wanted it to turn into a franchise, but Microsoft would only fund a sequel if it retained the IP's rights, which Crytek refused. If it had reviewed and sold better, things may have gone differently. Number 3, the Callisto Protocol. A brand new horror game from the co-creator of Dead Space got a lot of people justifiably excited. In fact, hype was so through the roof that publisher Krafton projected 5 million units sold within 2023. But they've since had to lower that goal to 2 million following the game's launch. Set in a prison of infected inmates, players had to escape while piecing together the facility's mysteries. Many found its focus on melee combat over weaponry a bit dull, and the game didn't even properly explain how to make the best of it. Elsewhere, the PC version launched with a ton of bugs, leading to a lot of negative user reviews on Steam. It's no wonder it didn't meet sales expectations. Number 2, The Order, 1886. Talk about failed potential. The Order 1886 followed the Knights of the Round Table in an alternate history London, where you'd hunt creatures and villains that threatened the safety of innocents. The concept was cool, and the graphics were incredible, but the game lasted only a few hours, so you can see where the problem lay for most players. It wasn't long enough, nor did it have compelling enough gameplay to leave a mark. While it was a very pretty and well thought out world, that was basically all the Order had to offer. This led to mixed reviews, abysmal sales, and the death of any possible sequel that could have expanded on it.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Anthem. This one still stings. Set on a planet with deadly wildfire, players ventured into the wilderness to defend their city. Anthem's environments were stunning, as were each player's javelin exosuits. BioWare piled on the impressive details, but everything else combined for a boring, tedious mess of a game. Playing was a literal grind, and not one any type of gamer would consider fun. The superficial experience was the result of an awful development period and a severe lack of leadership. Players and critics tore into Anthem, which naturally didn't meet EA's sales expectations. A major reworking of the game was underway, but it was abandoned in February of 2021, ensuring Anthem's tarnished legacy.
No,
In the mood for more awesome gaming content? Be sure to check out this video here on Mojo Plays. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.